Hi everyone, welcome back to 10 Minute Smash Concepts. This is the second video that I've made here. I'm gonna keep trying to make these, for my learning Discord at least one thing a week that I can post so people can, really get a rhythm, get some momentum going. So today I'm gonna talk about character choices and counterpicks and things like that, because I know I play a lot of characters. There was a post, it was on like Reddit or Twitter or something, where somebody made a tier list of like all these top players, like the things that carry them. It's like Mango's carried by like reading his opponents or something, just I don't know, stupid stuff like that. And they put that I was carried by character switching. They also put Free Palestine in the same tier that they put me in. And I thought that was funny because I like being able to switch characters, and I find it incredibly satisfying to beat somebody with a character that I found is a lot easier to play against them than a different character. And I know a lot of people don't feel that way. They feel like if they have to switch off of their main to some other character to beat somebody, that, it illegitimizes the win or something, or that they're just like matchup checking somebody. But I feel the complete opposite way, so I wanted to dive into that a little bit here. So basically, for me, I think that being able to play multiple characters is a skill that's kind of underappreciated, especially in today's meta, where a lot of people, they pretty much just like they play one character most of the time, almost all the time. If you look back in Melee history, though, towards the start of the game's development, players like Ken and Azen, they played all different kinds of characters all the time. Like, yeah, they had, both of them played Marth most of the time, but if you look at grand finals of them versus each other, they'll be picking like Fox and Sheik and stuff, or even like, I feel like Dr. Mario sometimes. I'm not sure. Someone will have to check me in the comments if either of them actually played Dr. Mario against each other. I think they did. Some random characters like that. But they would just counterpick depending on what the feeling was, like, how their opponent was playing, how the set was going, the momentum, and stuff like that. And it's just not really a thing that you see very much today. Like, you'll see like Zane counterpicking Ices for Sheik or whatever for a little while, or Leffen counterpicking Sheik for Marth, and then leading to very funny developments based off of that. But the way I look at it as someone who can play multiple characters is that some players' skills are very like, if you imagine like those little, I don't actually know what the charts are called, but the things with like, it's like a diamond graph or whatever, where it's like your stats move out in one direction, based on, like strength, intelligence, whatever. If you imagine players on a scale like this, then usually they'll have their skills are developed in a certain way that are only good against like certain characters or certain strategies. So by switching characters, you can force your opponent into like a different skill set that they may not have as developed. And if you're sticking with the same character that you've been playing, it might not be possible for you to test those skills of your opponent. So if you're playing against an opponent and you feel like, oh, well, this player is just like, they're just relying way too much on punish game. I'm outthinking them in neutral, but I can't seem to get anything done because every time I get touched, I'm dying. Then, switching from Fox to Jigglypuff might be a worse matchup for whatever you're playing. Like, if you're playing against like a Captain Falcon or something. But if the Falcon is just tech chasing you all the time, but they can't win neutral, then maybe you can pick Jigglypuff and you can beat them. And that's kind of the way that I think about it when I'm playing against just random opponents. While I'm playing against them, I'm trying to figure out what it is that they're strong at doing, so that I can lead the game away from wherever their strengths are. And this is something I've done many, many times in my career to a lot of success. And the game it's not played in one exact matchup. Like this game that we play, it's a big game. There are a lot of characters in it. And the reward for being able to play multiple characters is that sometimes you'll find somebody who's weak in a certain matchup, and it'll get you a set win that you may not have otherwise had. Now, of course, playing multiple characters does mean you have to dedicate time into multiple characters, and it also means that probably your one character that you play will never be as strong as somebody who only plays that character. But it can also teach you different skills, because playing different characters will give you like different outlooks. Like, if you play Marth for a while, you might get more of an eye for zoning than you otherwise would. And then when you go back to playing Fox, you might be doing more like shield pivot back airs and just like spacing moves. Because even though his moves aren't as well suited for that as like Marth's sword swinging, it can still be pretty useful. And it can, again, provide you with more strategies that might find ways to beat opponents that you otherwise would not be able to. What else is there about switching characters? Oh, yeah. Diminishing returns. As you get better and better at a character, it's going to be harder for you to find more things that you can improve at. But if you play other characters, it can give you more ideas for like directions to take yourself. Like, you get access to more top players that you can study. You get access to different tool sets, which means like if you have an over-reliance on things like Tekken Place Shine, then playing a character like Marth, who doesn't really have any scramble options like that, and when he gets knocked down, he really gets punished a lot harder for it, will teach you to care more about getting knocked down. And the other way around, like if you're used to playing Marth a lot, then switching to Fox might make you more used to like getting edge guarded, and it'll make you pay more attention to your recoveries. Of course, a lot of people who switch characters a lot, they kind of just like, I think the perception from other people who mainly play one character or are trying to like devalue somebody else's skill are like, you're just switching characters until you find a character that you can win with because you just want to win. And it's like, yeah, there probably are some people who do that. But also we do play a tournament game. We play it in competitions and we're trying to win. So to me, it makes sense to do whatever you can so that you can win the set. Like, it's not there are a lot of like internal rules that people come up with, and like I feel like character counterpicks are something where it comes up a lot, where people just kind of think like if you have to pick a different character, it shows that you didn't have enough skill with the character that you were playing. And it's like, not necessarily. Maybe you just have different skill sets with different characters. Like when I think of my characters, I think of like patience. I think my Sheik is able to be a lot more patient than my Fox, because like when I play Fox, I like to, run at people and do a lot of different stuff. I like to hit them a lot and pressure them. Whereas if I'm playing Sheik, I don't mind like hanging back and playing a little slower. And it's probably like this for a lot of other people too. Instead of keeping all of their different playstyles in the same character, they can just kind of split their playstyles up among different characters. So it's like if you're feeling like your opponent is going to be playing a slow game, then you could pick like a Sheik or a Marth. And if you feel like your opponent is going to be trying to rush you down, then it might be easier to pick a character who can deal with that easier, like Fox or Falco, who can like keep up with the pace. And then there's the inverse idea too, of course, where you want to try to slow down your opponent who's playing very fast, or you want to try to speed up an opponent who's playing slow. But honestly, at this point, I feel like people are pretty good enough at the game that you can't necessarily make them do that. Like laser camping the Jigglypuffs doesn't make them approach anymore. It's not 2006. They're just going to like hang out and weave in between the lasers, so it doesn't work quite as well as it used to. Another thing about character matchups that I find sort of interesting is the idea, like the example that I used for this when I was describing it the other day was like the role of Dreamland in Jigglypuff's matchups. So like traditionally, Dreamland was Jigglypuff's strongest stage in like every single matchup, with the justification being, oh, she lives there forever. Like she just never dies off of any hit. And she can kill her opponents really quickly with edge guards and rest and stuff. But now, as the game advances, there's the growing idea of the greater mobility of characters, specifically like Fox, Sheik, and Falcon, where there's like a growing school of thought that maybe Dreamland isn't even the best stage for Jigglypuff in those matchups, because she can just get camped out for 8 minutes. Like they can just go to the platforms and they have better movement than she does. So like they're fast and she should never win neutral. Whereas on the other stages, they're smaller and the opponent is forced to engage with Jigglypuff, which is kind of like the opposite of what we used to think was her whole thing. So it's kind of funny to see how things can develop like that. And I think it ultimately depends mostly on personal preference for that kind of thing. Like, if you have a movement heavy style, then perhaps a stage like Dreamland is going to be better for you, regardless of what the matchup is. But I'm about to hit 10 minutes here, I guess. That one feels like it sort of flew by. So I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching. Thank you to my patrons who make this possible, and join the Discord where I post this and other videos. Everything will be, yeah, wherever. Thank you.